Are people thinking about happiness the wrong way? I'll be presenting on how people are thinking the wrong way about happiness in an article that I found called "A Harvard Psychologist States That Too Many People Are Thinking About Happiness All Wrong." Psychologists are increasingly discovering that when people are trying to be happy, it backfires on them. So psychologist states that the key to true happiness is to accept the unhappiness and not let or force yourself to feel happy. Susanna David, a psychologist at Harvard Medical School, wrote a book called Emotional Agility and teaches readers on dealing with emotions in a healthy way that is not hiding or controlling their behavior. David cites a study of people that were asked to read the benefits of happiness and those who watched the happy film. It found out that those who read the benefits of happiness were not happier than those who watched the happy film. And the author Leibowitz did research on value of happiness and found out that people who valued happiness had a less well-being than those who had a kind of valuable of happiness. But David's insight is that people who are unhappy think about the positive thinking instead of the negative emotion. And she uses an example of sweeping the floor. Someone would put it in the dustpan and throw it away and leave everything clean with leaving nothing untouched, while there are some who would sweep and put it under a rug and just forget it to make it look like it's perfect. There's no scrape of dirt or anything at all around it. But what David wants is to let others explore their emotions, because people who would push critical information that can help us learn from it. She also mentioned that when we listen to negative emotion and we let them rise, one can gain valuable information that you can shape in life. It is rooted in mindfulness, and she states that you don't have to meditate to become mindful, but it's about learning to be open to what you're feeling and thinking. What I learned from this article is that in order to be happy, that I have to accept the feeling of negative emotions, negative thinking, and not force on it, and try to distract myself from it or hide from it. And it's like if I'm reading something that's happiness, I know it won't last me all day or to the next day. Even watching a happy film, it's just going to last me that moment of time or until the end of the day, but not the next day. And those who support the happiness or value happiness are less happy and have less well-being, because they are pushing themselves to be happy instead of letting themselves accept those negative thinking and negative emotions. The article and the author is credible based on the reporting, because the author does give her opinion, and she backs it up with a psychologist of Harvard that wrote a new book. The author does have the authority to write about on how people think about happiness all wrong, because she uses sociological point of view of what gets in the way of happiness. And also she wrote more articles in Business Insider that covers mental health for Greatest and personal finance for Learning Invest. She studied English and psychology at a university and received her master's degree in English literature from Columbia University. So from what I got from this article is that it does relate to the theme of English, that we have to accept those negative emotions and feelings so we can move on to be happy, because it's not going to go away. You can't hide from it. You just have to learn from it and accept who you are and how you are thinking and all those emotions that you feel, and turn them into something that you would think that it's happy, and include it with, like, if you don't like your boss, you can think of some things that you don't like and turn it into a positive so you can get along with them. Or something with doing something that you love to do, which is just like exercise, activities, movies, or hanging out with anybody that you love, your family. But from this article, I would agree with her that you have to accept the unhappiness to move on to be happy. So, thank you. Bye.